Githa. How are you?
I'm fine. I would like to know, could you explain me a little bit about what you are working with?
Well, I've been working with water, vitalizing water, following the footsteps of Gerald Pollack from the University of Washington. He discovered water's exclusion zone, and H₃O transforms to H₃O₂ in the presence of light, visible light and infrared, and it creates a voltage in water. So I've been doing the same, and going a little further, I've vitalized the water to get a higher voltage. I vitalize it using shungite. It's a mineral from Russia, so a combination of shungite and vortexing and magnets, so magnetization, increases the ability for the exclusion zone to form, which translates as a higher voltage.
And the exclusion zone, could you just explain that, because not everybody will understand?
Oh yeah, sorry. So, so when H₂O interacts with light, it transforms to H₃O₂, and so it forms layers of hexagonal layers, many thousands of layers on an atomic level. But the reason Jerry calls it exclusion zone is because it excludes all particles, meaning whatever is in H₂O, including salt, like ocean water, and you name it, the H₃O₂ pushes it away. So inside the H₃O₂ layer, or the exclusion zone layer, is nothing but pure water, negative charge.
So you could actually purify all our drinking water by creating this exclusion zone?
Yes, you could, if you can separate the H₃O₂ from the H₂O, which I have done.
You have done that?
Jerry has done that. Gerald Pollack has done that. I mean, I'm doing it on a small scale, but yes, it's definitely possible to obtain a voltage from this, so energy, as well as filtered water. I'm working with plants and trying to quantify vitalized water. The higher voltage is one thing. Another way I'm doing it is feeding plants water, vegetables. I typically do 3 types of experiments: control water, vitalized water, and microwave exposed water, or EMF. People call it EMF, electromagnetic fields. So every test I've done so far, the vitalized water shows a much higher yield in biomass and plant size. And I continue to refine the vitalization process. So every harvest becomes bigger and better. And conversely, the EMF exposed water, those plants are very small. It is direct correlation between the exposure time to EMF and the effects on the plant, the biomass. At a light exposure, like what I mean by that is maybe 3 to 5 hours a day of, let's say, a water sitting next to a wireless router or a baby monitor, the plants are, they're about 20% decrease in biomass compared to the control plants. And the voltage is maybe 40% decrease. But if I expose the water to the wireless router or a baby monitor for 24 hours a day, maybe 10 days, the voltage drops to 0. And the plants will die in 3 or 4 weeks.
So it is the electricity inside the water, it's the charging actually that gives life?
Yes. Yes, plants have cells, just like human bodies. Each in the human body, there's approximately 2.5 quadrillion water molecules in every cell. So if they're denied the ability to create an exclusion zone or diminished, bioelectricity is decreased significantly. So, the EMF, the pervasive nature of EMF, it's just getting more powerful, more intense, more pervasive. I think it's very drastically affecting people's health. And in my opinion, there's no coincidence, the correlation between, in the early 80s, autism and cancer and behavioral issues increased dramatically. Well, in '82 was the first commercially available cell phone. It only took, I think it's a dozen years or so for 100% market saturation. Everybody had a cell phone in by the 90s, mid 90s or something like that. So just every generation becomes more disconnected from their true nature, I think, because a lot of the reason, not all of the reason, but a big reason is because of our body's inability to create a healthy exclusion zone. Right now, I have a headache from EMF. So I'm very motivated to uncover this and maybe find ways to mitigate.
So what do you think about that? In Europe and especially also in Denmark, they have decided now we should have the 5G.
Horrible.
Because we feel, powerless.
It's horrible. But no one knows about this, but I think the correlation between exclusion zone degradation and EMF is a important beginning. Also, Li-Fi technology. So Wi-Fi uses the lower band microwave frequency, which I'm showing is degrading the exclusion zone. Li-Fi uses light, visible light.
Li-Fi?
Li-Fi.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it's new technology, and it's oddly enough, it's about 100 times faster than Wi-Fi. But more importantly, it uses the visible light frequency. That's the spectrum of the electromagnetic spectrum, visible light and infrared. But that light frequency, Gerald Pollack discovered, creates the exclusion zone. So technically speaking, by using your cell phone, you'll become healthier if it's on the Li-Fi signal.
So could we change that to that?
Yes, we could.
It would be faster and it would be healthier.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Li-Fi is better.
Well, in my opinion, it's not proven that frequency, they modulate the frequency, and it's pulsed. So there's more research that needs to be done if, in fact, it keeps a healthy exclusion zone. But I'm just saying, theoretically, it's very promising. Now, convincing telecom, that's another discussion, but because they got to change their frequency bands, But I'm just saying from a frequency scientific perspective, technically speaking, this would probably be the way to go.
Do you think that sound? Now I work with the sound. Do you think sound can help us in this situation?
Yes, very much. As we were talking yesterday. So visible light is about an octave. The frequency range is about 1 octave from red to violet, the rainbow colors. Interestingly, the diatonic scale, musical scale, is 1 octave, 40 octaves down from visible light. So the same ratios that apply to consonant chords apply to the primary colors. So a chord equals color. And I'm pretty convinced, I haven't done the test myself, but I am quite convinced that with the right sonic frequencies, in particular consonant chords, will create an exclusion zone. It's like
consonant chords, what's that?
Consonant versus dissonant.
Oh yeah. So it's interference, or
what did you say?
Interference, consonant. I just didn't understand it totally.
Like a chord that sounds good, or
pleasing? Oh yeah. Also harmonies.
Harmony.
Harmonies.
Yeah. Discordant versus.
Yeah.
So I do think that the right chords, individual notes or sounds, but also chords, I think has more potential to create an exclusion zone in water, which translates to health. So it's one way to quantify vibrational healing.
So it's the fifths usually coming, like if I would sound heal, more notes will come, because you will have the note you find, and then the overtones and undertones will also appear when we find the right resonance. So it will usually be the fifth and the third and the fourth, which are a part of the harmonious system. So I think it's in the music of the spheres, this is built in, actually.
Yes. I'm not a musician,
No.
But I do understand the basics. I think you're absolutely correct.
Okay. I think it's really interesting, your work, and I wish you good luck with it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And is there any place people can contact you, or see the web page or something?
Well, my website, which is out of date,
yes.
is dunedainenterprises.com.
Okay.
Want me to spell that?
No, I will put it on the film.
Oh, and my email.
Thank you. Your email?
My email is lpm.dunedain@gmail.com.
Thank you very much, Len, for sharing all this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.